Hey there, how are you doing? Right, I just wanted to come on because so if you've ever had a relationship with somebody who shows narcissistic traits, I'm very aware that narcissistic personality disorder is something that has to be diagnosed, I suppose. But narcissistic, gaslighting, stonewalling, narcissistic traits, things like that, right? Now, there is ultimately, what I figured out, me and my husband broke up just over a year ago. Obviously, starting to have contact with each other, and it's been a rocky old road in some ways. But when you have, there's a certain grief that goes with it when you end a relationship with someone in that kind of character, because it's almost like, what you signed up for something that you never got. You're mourning something that you wanted but you never kind of received. And there's this kind of this element of it which I've recently realized. I knew there was going to be a loss element, but that this grief that can happen when it's gone, and you're like, well, hang on, and you see their lives, because of the way that their brains work isn't not like the way our brains work. So they move on and they go and get their energy from somewhere else. Basically, they're feeding off energy, and if they can't get it from you, they'll get it from somebody. And more often than not, if like for me, I never broke. I mean, I almost broke under it, but I'm now a million times better than where I was. Okay, but then you see them going for people who are vulnerable, and they can save them, and they're seen as this big savior, and part of me, I look at that and I don't get it so much now, but today I felt like this kind of, God, I had to see him today drop something off, and he's cross with me because I'm not going along with, I'm just not agreeing with everything. I don't generally not agree. When it comes to kids, you have to stand your ground a little bit sometimes. There's no point, but I just was like, it is a goodness, the promises that were made. One sec, darling, one sec, be there today. Well, I'm just about, yeah. And there is an element that one has to grieve what you thought you had, or what you kind of signed up for and what you agreed to. Yes. So, Max, I'm just literally 2 seconds. No, okay, you need to give me 2 minutes, okay? Sorry about that. Matt, in 2 minutes. You need to be patient. Remember, we're going to practice patience. Amazing. Right. Can I find a tray to put a chocolate bar on so I can eat it in the lounge? Anyway, so, yeah, there is a real amount of grief that comes when you think, when you see that person, you think, goodness, you're moving on and you're about to, possibly hurt somebody else and do all that. But it's, you sold me a lie, like if you've ever bought a car and look at that shiny car, and then under the bonnet it's a pile of shit. Ex-car salesperson here, by the way, so I'd never do that. But and you feel completely duped, or you go and buy a lovely holiday and then you turn up on your holiday and it's like, what? There's like a building site, there's no pool, and like there's rats and cockroaches. It's like, you buy into a dream, you buy into something, and then it's just not. And we have to understand that there's a grief and a loss, and a part of us that maybe there's loads of emotion going on. Part of us feels stupid, like, ugh. Part of us is like, yeah, but that was the dream. And part of us, a tiny part of us, still believes that was actually real. Right, so part of you, when you, part of you will still believe that what you had and what you thought you had in that dream state, in that wonderful life that was promised to you, actually exists. And it's understanding that really never did exist. That was all part of this kind of this dance, if you like, in order to get you where you needed to be, and to become less and less independent, more and more dependent on someone else, more and more unsure of your own self. Oh, is that me? Or did I really do that? Is it me? All this questioning of yourself happens the more and more you get into these relationships, and the less and less the dream just starts disappearing. But part of you will believe, even now, I'm like, but it was so good. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was exactly what it was meant to be. So I would just be good to yourself when if you have to be in touch. And that's the trouble, is if you have to be in touch with an ex who's got these traits, and you feel feelings that you don't understand, it's perfectly okay. Again, learn to tap. I can sort out that soon. Yeah, if you keep an eye out, if I'm going to teach everyone how to do that really soon in a workshop. But and just be honest with yourself, and say, do you know what, I wanted the dream. I fell for it hook, line, and sinker, because it's almost too good to be true, right? It feels like this. Oh my goodness, I felt like, oh my goodness, this is like a fairy tale. Wow, it's a fairy tale, and it was, until it wasn't. And I think that's the thing. And then you believe that, and because I believe everything is possible, I thought, this is amazing, look at this, I've manifested this. But there was something in me that I hadn't been fixed yet, and there's something in me I hadn't fixed myself from my previous narcissistic relationships, of which I'd had a couple. So big top tip, lean into those feelings, lean into them, discover them, talk to those emotions, feel them, understand them, and without judgment. And the biggest thing is, when these feelings pop up, like, I just wanted the dream, man, I just wanted that dream, don't judge yourself for it. Be kind to yourself, because these emotions can pop up and you need to not be judging. Second thing, please heal before you move on. Please, because the next thing you know, you're going to meet another dreamboat. This wonderful man who's going to sweep you off your feet, or woman who's going to just sweep you off your feet, or whatever it might be. And if you have not healed your stuff, the pattern will happen again. If I am not proof of that, so then it does. And I almost fell into it again. I was almost went down that road again. That whoa, and I just saw it coming this time. So I less and less. And now I don't think I'd even attract a narcissist. I just don't think that would even happen. But it takes a while, and because we don't think the same, because the way that people with those tendencies are so, it's just so like, it's so different, it's so inexplicable that we try and explain it away. And it's not like, oh, we just fell out of love and that's sad and that's shit and let's move on. It is, hang on, it's such a mind fuck that it's almost like we hold on to it more because we need to try and understand it. And can I promise you now, unless you become one, you will never understand their thought processes, and they will always surprise you. Delightful. So, as does Max, always surprise me. Covert ones are the best, and even when you think you're healed, you possibly aren't. Yes, absolutely, Kel. Yeah, that's my ex was a covert one. Yeah, because he wasn't anywhere near as bad technically as the one before him, because the one before him was, I was locked in the house before, I wasn't allowed to leave if I was wearing certain clothes. Oh my god, I don't think he ever stayed over. We never stayed over. It was hang on a sec, darling. Lovely. So yeah, and so this one, they're definitely covert, and it's almost like that's your next progression. Once you have an out and out narcissist as a partner, then you go, well, okay, I've healed a little bit. So yeah, then you get the covert ones, and then you get the ultra covert ones, and then you need to start healing. But you really need to heal, and Kel is a medium, and she must see it a lot and all that, and talks about it a lot and things like that. But I just wanted to say, just because I happen to, these last couple of days I've been triggered a lot, not a lot as in how I used to be, but other things are bothering me, and I'm noticing the triggers. And as I had a conversation actually with Kel earlier about this, it was I noticed the triggers, and I was like, oh, thank goodness, look how far I've come. And I'm seeing that trigger, and I'm working through it quite in my head, and tap through it, but it's not, it's still a little bit there, but I know what I've got to work on now. And triggers, as much as it might not seem it a lot of the time, when you start working through them, triggers are the ultimate gift. They show you what you still got to do, but they also show you how far you've come. So listen, anyone who has experience of any kind of narcissism, and it's not necessarily husbands, wives, it might also be kids, parents, it might be friends, it might be, get a lot of it with work colleagues and stuff. So share a little bit if you can here, because I'll happily share all I can, especially because sometimes I'm still got the residual going through it, if you like, and healing from it. So do share, do ask some questions, and not just me will answer, obviously, but other people around will answer. So yeah, it's a time to be vulnerable, guys. It's a time to own our shit, be vulnerable, put it out there, and let's heal like a motherfucker. All right. Anyway, have a great Saturday. It's not Sunday, it's Saturday today. It's Sunday tomorrow. So there we go. Have a great Saturday night. I am blowing up about 150 balloons. got to bake a cake shaped like a heart, if that's possible, with sweeties on the inside. Not for me, for my 9-year-old daughter. He's put in requests so covertly, it just makes me laugh. And yeah, blowing up a lot of balloons. I forgot to buy one of those pump things, so lucky I don't smoke anymore. I haven't smoked for about 10 years, by the way. Not that I'm judging, but don't smoke. No, I'm joking. Anyway, I love you all. Take care of yourselves and lean into those uncomfortable feelings without judgment. From yourself mainly, because that's the worst judge you've got. But don't judge the thoughts, don't judge the feelings, even write them down, look at them, forgive them, love them, accept them, move on. Reach out in the group here, guys, and lots of love to you guys. Mwah. Peace out.